Financial markets saw historic losses this week as coronavirus caused societies around the world to grind to a halt without any telling when we all will be back to business as usual. Multi-billion-dollar airlines, sports leagues, cruise ship companies, theme parks, millions of small businesses, and all of those employees now grappling with an uncertain future. NBC senior business correspondent Stephanie Ruhle has our Sunday spotlight.
As the virus called COVID-19 spreads, so does fear and panic, closing businesses, canceling events, and clearing store shelves. Across the United States, cities declaring a state of emergency, encouraging people to keep their distance and prepare for the worst.
What would be the end? The end would be when people are getting well and there's very few new cases and, life can start to resume normal. I think it could be 6 months, obviously it could be more.
Growing concerns at home threatening America's economic health. Though markets closed up 2,000 points Friday, last week a milestone, a massive sell-off in stocks ending 11 years of market gains, officially hitting a bear market, a 20% drop-off from recent highs. All the uncertainty is fueling warnings of economic ripple effects, even recession.
We're going to do whatever we need to do to support hardworking Americans who are impacted by this. And there's no question there's a short-term economic issue, but we will get through this.
But for some, the road to recovery will be harder than others. As governments and corporations encouraged workers to stay home, a new problem emerged.
Within a day of people advising employees to work from home, we recognized that people who are paid by the hour were not going to have as much work.
Nearly half of hourly workers don't have paid sick leave. So many companies, including Walmart, Apple, and Microsoft, have promised to continue paying their workers even if they don't come in.
If you're paid by the hour, you're much more likely to be living paycheck to paycheck. So we recognized that we could afford to take this step, so we stepped up to do that.
A solution that unfortunately is not realistic for many small businesses struggling with the same consumer drop-off.
It's been stressful. We are honestly more worried about what's going to happen to the business than we are about catching the virus.
Adding more pressure to some already economically vulnerable populations, school districts closing their doors.
A lot of our families rely on us for not only delivering wonderful instruction, but being able to provide resources, meals, counseling, and so forth.
Many working-class families now faced with a decision: who will stay home with the children and who will go to work.
I want you to know that your federal government will unleash every authority, resource, and tool at its disposal to safeguard the lives and health of our people.
President Trump declaring a national emergency, freeing up nearly $50 billion to fight the pandemic, trying to keep both citizens and the economy healthy. For Sunday Today, Stephanie Ruhle, New York.